Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Grind Fondo, powered by Dirt and Draft. My name is Jesper Anker, and for the first time right here on Swift Community Live, I am bringing you this race live as your host. You may have seen me cover the Swift Riders Germany race, which used to happen on a Tuesday, but that concluded last week, so now I've taken over the reins here at the Morning Grind Fondo, and it's probably up there as one of the better names in all of Swift racing leagues, because Morning Grind Fund. How do you even come up with that? Okay, so this race is brought to you by Dirt and Draft Racing. So that's the Matt Gardner, the Jason Stern, I've got a Word document somewhere. The Greg Leos. This is not off to a good start. I'll make sure to open up the Word document somewhere that Matt Gardner sent me. But this race is just supposed to be a fun morning spin. Wake up, make a cup of coffee, espresso, latte, cappuccino. If you got one of those fancy Nespresso capsules, you can pop that in, get going, and then you're doing the Morning Grind Fondo. So I'm just checking to make sure that we are indeed live on Facebook, because I don't really see it pop up on my feed just yet. So if you can hear me, please say something in the chat. As I see, we got 13 viewers live right over on Facebook. Lionel Vuisin, Rush Crowder, and a few other people are tuning in. So I'm just making sure. But in 20 minutes time, we're going to get underway. We're going to have 2 laps of the London Loop. So that includes 2 times up Box Hill. Best of luck. That's going to hurt. And we have got a strong Peloton on the start line. I was going to say tonight, because usually I cover races in the evening, such as the Swift Riders Germany race or the KISS European Road Race. But today, in about 1 second's time, I'm covering a morning race again. It's almost like it's Australia. But here we go. Start line has been dropped, and it's time to see who's made the start line. Oh, Courtney Joseph can hear you. Will Butch this morning. Thank you. Can clear up that confusion. It was just my computer or my phone being a bit slow. So looking at the start line for the Morning Grind Fondo and the first time of broadcasting this race league. 12 rounds in total. Best 9 rounds will count. Last week was the inaugural round of the Morning Grind Fondo, which was won by no other than Mr. Kim Little. So the UK National Champion of Swift, who's updated his avatar. That is controversial. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at that. Do you see what I see? Mr. Kim Little has updated his avatar to add a cap. And it's like one of those really ugly caps. Kim Little, this is the fashion police. You also have a green, that is the Swift Academy Savello. That is also butt ugly. Kim Little, I'm sorry, but I'm calling the fashion police on you. And that says a lot coming from me. What is up with that hat? Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Kim Little's attire. Looking further up into the group, I saw we have Matt Gardner, one of the race organizers. You may have seen my post on Swift Racers saying if you're not racing the Morning Grind Fondo tomorrow morning, which I sent out last night, you're making a massive mistake, because look at this. Look at this. So Matt Gardner has gone out of his way, opened up his wallet, and bought a trophy for whoever wins the overall race series, which is just... how did no one else think about this? For a virtual platform like Swift, it feels so real, it feels so physical. And to add on to that, you get a physical trophy if you win the overall series. That is so cool. Well done to Matt Gardner, Swift's fastest accountant. Up by himself, of course. Phil Whiteley is in here from Bolt Racing Team. Oh, this anecdote never gets old. We saw him at the London EU KISS E-Crits. And for some reason, he scalped himself in the knee. He had a plaster on there, and he still showed up quite well, considering he was somewhat handicapped. But Phil Whiteley's in here. That anecdote never gets boring. Every time I see Phil Whiteley on a start line, whether it's a Swift Riders Germany race, or KISS race, an SZR race, a Morning Grind Fondo, that anecdote has to be aired, because it is so outrageous that you somehow scalp yourself in the knee. I think Phil is a vet, and that's how it happened, but still... unreal. I see 35 people are tuning in. We got Leandro Messinio, who was runner-up last week, but it doesn't look like he's taking part in tonight's or this afternoon's activities. We've got Matt Brandt, one of the funnier engagement people. Is that even a word? One of the funny interactors in the Swift community. He walks around in the different forums like Swift Riders, Swift Racers, venting area, and some of the things he says are quite funny. So it's good to see Matt Brandt also getting up early. And I think for some of these people in the United States, this is way early in the morning. Like, this could be borderline 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning. And if you're Australian, it makes sense because for you it would be evening. But for Americans to get up this early, I'm impressed to see Greg Leo, etc. in the chat and in the race. We also see Werner Finger. Werner Finger, stable name to the race I used to cover on a Tuesday afternoon, the Swift Riders Germany Autumn Series, which concluded last week with a great victory by Thomas Jendrush. But Werner Finger, hilarious guy, absolutely 10 out of 10, good guy. Looks like he's taken to the start line in the Innsbruck kit tonight here in the morning grind Fondo. So we are doing 2 laps of the London Loop, which means this is not reversed today. Last time we did this, it was reversed, but today it's forward. So we're going to go down through embankment, up to the right, turn left. There's a little incline, little hill where you can drop some of the Bs, but I don't think it's too early in the race. It's about 5 minutes in. I think everyone's got fresh legs. And when we come to that right-hand turn, we'll see increased wattage, but I don't think it'll be enough to drop a lot of riders. But then we're going to hit Box Hill at about, 8 kilometers in, 10 kilometers in, we hit Box Hill, go to the top, you come down, and then you repeat that for the second time running. And Box Hill is gonna be fast. But we don't have the Swift juggernaut that is Leandro Messina on the start line tonight. We do have Lionel Vuizin, though. We do see Lionel up there. And I see this. I mean, Lionel Vuizin, it makes me happy seeing him every time on Swift, because the way he made his breakthrough was in the CVR World Cup, where he would race and stream his point of view on CycleView, and he would never really win races in his zone, in his division, because he was on like a dumb trainer or a classics trainer, which had a lot of slippage, which wouldn't actually give him the correct wattage, but he would suffer. He would suffer like no man. He would never give up. Every time he got dropped, he got into the aero position, hands on the handlebars, and then just powered through. Now, since then, I believe he's on a Wahoo kicker, and so therefore his power is now accurate, and we're seeing the monster, the beast. I almost tempted to call him the lion, but since we've got Greg Leo in here, that wouldn't quite be fair to... is that even plagiarizing, or is it just like taking someone's... Well, I guess that is plagiarizing. But we got Kim Little, who says he's recently taken up golf. He's in here. We also got my good friend and fellow Team Cycling Up teammate, who recently got into a bit of trouble racing the 101 or the 111 watts per kilogram league. And I'm not sure what Quinton Molinese was thinking as a Team Cycling Hub boss. But anyway, Quinton Molinese is in the race tonight, and... this is a story of Swifting. Like, this is unreal. The story of Quinton Molinese is something that can be inspiring to a lot of people, because I'm not sure what the condition that Quinton Molinese does have, but I've been friends with him for about 2 to 3 years now, and I've seen him go from a D rider to a mediocre B rider back to like a DC rider, and now he's up to an A rider at about 4.2, 4.3 FTP. Like, he's above me, and to see that progression from Quinton Molinese makes me really happy, because I know he works really hard for it, and I'm excited to see what he can do in this bunch today. It's a really, really strong peloton. I would expect him to get halfway up Box Hill before getting slowly out of the back, but he might even surprise and get all the way to the top. But Team Cycling Hub member, I mean, just look at that kit. Look at that Cycling Hub kit on Swift. That is where all the money is. And also, speaking of nice guys, Russell Crowder has made it to the start line tonight from the Isle of Man. Actually, Isle of Man. I saw Jay Looker in there. I meant Jersey. Russ. Don't. Put down the pitchfork. Put down the pitchfork. I meant Jersey. I saw Jay Looker in there, who's from the Isle of Man. But we got Russell Crowder, who recently had the pleasure of meeting GCN legend and now Swift presenter Matt Stevens. Matt Stevens recently went to Jersey to speak at one of the club dinners, and there's a great picture somewhere of Russ Crowder holding up this exact kit, the KRT kit, with Matt Stevens in his shop, which is the Pedal Power shop in Jersey. So if you ever find yourself in Jersey and you need some equipment, you need to pump up a tire, you need to get some last minute snacks or something for a bike ride, go check out Pedal Power. It's a great place to be. Oh, we got Matt Looker in the chat, speaking of Isle of Man. So, Jeff Looker, Matt, is that your brother? Are you related to him? Is that your cousin? Because we had an in-house discussion here in the Cycling Hub office. Victor has raised Jay Looker, and he was wondering if he was somehow related to you, because he's also from the Isle of Man, or maybe Looker is just a familiar name. We got Callum Ellis saying, good morning for everyone in UC, a cycling club in the UK. Well, good morning to you as well, Callum. One man we haven't really touched upon yet as we're heading out to the climb, we got Greg Leo, who I've just noticed I'm not following on Swift. So I do apologize, Greg, but he's in here somewhere, Mr. Greg Leo. Jeffrey Keel is also in here. He snuck in. How is that possible? It looks like Werner Finger's been dropped off the back. But Jeffrey Keel, the South African national champion of Zwift, as that kid he's rocking right now on Zwift. So he's a dual national citizen, I guess, dual citizenship. He's got both Australian and South African, and he raised the Zwift Nationals under the South African banner. But it's funny to see the South African flag coupled up with the Australian flag on the right side. But Kim Liller with a burn of the century. Everyone is a cousin on the Ireland man. Oh, Alan Lowe says, I'm in the race and it's too early. It's way too early. Well, welcome to the race as well, Alan. It's time to see what you're made of because we're about to turn right and we're about to hit out Box Hill for the first time of action. And it looks like Kim Little has hit out on the front. So you do get points for placing well in the morning grind Fondo. Kim Little won last week, taking all the points. And now he's going to try to make that 2 in a row. But he's up against some strong competition. And here is Greg Leo. And you can see Williamson and Little have that little, they have the little name, the badge next to their name, but Greg Leo doesn't, and that's because I'm not following you on Zwift, so I will correct that mistake once this race is over. But here we go, Box Hill for the first time of action, first time of 2 today. It is an effort that will take roughly 4 minutes of action, so we'll see how they're going to play this one out. Kim Little sitting at 6 to 7 watts per kilo. It is worth mentioning that today we have double draft activated, and yes, I know at this point, if you're listening and if you're an avid follower of Zwift Community Live, you're tired of hearing of double draft, true draft, draft 2.0, etc. I know, but it's worth mentioning that double draft is activated for this race. So you really want to do your best just to sit in that slipstream and sit on. Do not ever let a wheel go, because with the new dynamics, the new algorithm, it's so difficult to get back on. Last Thursday evening when I covered the race with Johannes Herman and Tim Cartwright when they sprinted for the win, Johannes Herman got dropped at the bottom of Box Hill and he had to put out like 500 watts for 2 minutes or a minute and a half just to get back onto the group. And you know as much as I do, that hurts. Like that is really, really difficult to do. We got in the chat saying Matthias Lundqvist says it's time to suffer now to be as bike fit. That is a Swedish rider I saw in there. Jeff Looker is his dad. Well, that's interesting. Come on, Jeff, you can do this. Leandro Messinio says, who wins? And Sish says, that is Lionel. So we got a few riders off the front now, a few riders spat off the back. Matt Gardner struggling from Team Draft on the back with Matt Brandt. Coupon is dropped. Ginger Citizen is dropped. Ross is off the back. Let's see who else is off the back. Whiteley is struggling. It might be too early for a lot of people. Quentin Molyneux has been dropped off. Jeffrey Keel has been dropped off. And Jeff Looker has been dropped off the back. And I think that's the last we've seen of them. So now the cream does rise to the top, and the top we're nearing now. So Kim Lill is up here, G. Hughes, Liza, Ryan Lyons of ODC, a really strong name in Zwift racing that I haven't seen in a while. And he races for Team ODC. So it looks like Matt Brandt has made his way back on, and so has Matt Gardner. So we've got a reduced bunch now, and it looks like Lionel Vujasin is not content on keeping this status quo. He goes up again to 8 watts per kilo as they're halfway up Box Hill already. And Lionel Vujasin on that Trek Madone, he's going for it. You can see he's in the RCC kit. He races for RCC, the Rafa Cycling Club. He's sitting at 7. He's sitting at 6. This could be a really fast time from Lionel Vujasin, but on World Diabetes Day, we've got G. Hughes of Team Type 1 out of Ireland, rocking up those collars, showing off the Team Type 1 kit, the team where everyone is either related or has been afflicted by diabetes. Come on, Hughes. I know you can do this. 2-man group now off the front. Vujasin and Hughes back in the chasing group now. We got Liza, we got Little, we got Leon, we got Gardner, we got Brandt. Brandt still at the back though. 1 second off the back. This could be the end. If this snaps for Matt Brandt, he is at 190 beats per minute. I would go on to Zwift Power to see what his maximum heart rate is, but when I looked earlier, it was updating and was progressing an update. So I couldn't even see how far the race is, but I believe it's about 30 kilometers in total. His saving grace now, it does flatten out a tiny bit until it kicks up again. So 5%, 4%, 3% as they come to this right-hand turn at the top. But it looks like Matt Brandt is just letting that one go and just going to sit back and wait for the group behind. Christopher Durham is in the chat saying, come on, Kim. And I assume he's referring to Mr. Kim Little, who's sitting comfortably in this front group. So Vujasin and Hughes have been caught by Liza. Leon's is still up there, and so is Greg Leo, the lion of Team Draft. It is cute how Draft have all their animal emojis. I wonder what what emoji Gardner and Matt Brand have chosen for themselves, but it looks like it is all back together now as they're reaching the crest, the top of Box Hill for the first time of action. Really fast time, instigated by Lionel Vujasin, but now they're sitting around 5 watts per kilo. I want to say this is comfortable, but at no point ever is 5 watts per kilo really comfortable. So they're still working their butts off, but Lionel Vujasin, he hasn't gone for the last time. He'll find another time to go again. So now we're getting to the top of Box Hill. They'll turn right, they'll turn left, they'll go over the top. You'll see the camera angle change, and then they've got the kicker at the very end, where everyone's going to hit 8-10 watts per kilo and attack over the top. And even before that, Lionel Vujasin again attacking off the front. It is double draft, so if you can get 2 riders with him, that could become a mini blob. And I think that's what Kim Little is reacting to. He's sitting at 10, he's sitting at 9, 9.5. There is a gap now. This could very much work well together now if they could stay on it. But that gap, it just isn't strong enough. Or is it? It's growing out now. You really have to be careful. Draft have numbers in this group, but Greg Leo and Matt Gardner have to pay attention because Lionel Vujasin is not going to let go of this. He's going to stay on it. It's 2 seconds now, 1 second, but it looks like it's been nullified and all back together again. Only casualty is G. Lysa, but I think Lysa is going to get back on very soon. You can see he's getting back on. So that is a Box Hill. Let's see what the time is on the left-hand side of the screen. It was it's not a 4-minute effort. Sorry, that was only Johannes Herman who can do a 4-minute effort. 5:35 from Lysa that's a fast time up Box Hill. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna sting. So now, if you've never seen the Box Hill course before, the London Loop, they go over the top, come up in the distance there. You can see another incline. It's about 50 meters at 8%, 9%, 100 meters at 9%. They're gonna kick it up. They're gonna kick it up to orange numbers. So that's 9-10 watts per kilo. And then they've got a long descent down Fox Hill. They go through the tube, come up through the escalators, cross over the finish line, and they'll do one more lap of this. Hey, Ben Gove, the organizer of the chop. But here we go again. So now we're going to see orange numbers instigated by Vujasin. Got Gardner on the front at 6 watts per kilo. So is Kim Little, Hughes, Greg Leo. Is anyone going to be dropped? We're going to see what happens now. You could get dropped on this hill. And if that's the case, it's game over. But I think everyone is quite clever enough to just stay in there, draft and draft and draft. Funny enough, as the race is organized by draft and dirt. Casey Shum says that is a crazy fast time. My PR is 5:50. I think that has something to do with the fact it's double draft, Casey. I think double draft, so there was some scientific research done by Eric Slang, also known as Swift Insider. He did some scientific research where he reached out to a bunch of high-end level Swift racers and looked at their data with double draft and without double draft. The watts are pretty much the same, but the speed was much higher, like 2 to 3 kilometers an hour higher on double draft racing. So I think that might be what we're seeing here, is that overall the peloton just moves so much quicker. And that's not really something you need in Swift, considering the algorithm already is so skewed, because you wouldn't go this fast with these wattages. Like, it's interesting. We're seeing them do 70 kilometers an hour on the descent of Fox Hill. Kim Little's on the front. In case you this is some drafting on that hill for sure. The time DDD ate it, yeah. So now we're going back down. If we take stock, as I see Timothy Tamon is tuning in, we got 70 viewers here on this nice Tuesday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching in the world. But if we take stock of who's made this front group: Kim Little, UK national champion of Swift; G Huge, Team Type 1; Lionel Vujasin, winner of the CVR World Cup Vancouver; Greg Leo also participated in that CVR World Cup. He packs a punch at about 23 watts per kilo. We got G Lysa, who's done very well to get back in, and Matt Gardner, one of the organizers of this race. And we got Pierzga of Team Poland, joined by Ryan Lyons as well. So in this group right now, if we have to rank them by favorites, if we have to have a top 3, I'd like you in the chat to give me a top 3 favorites, because I think I've got mine as well. Because if I look at this, I think Lionel would be tough to beat. I think Lionel's got a bit of a kick in him, but I also think Kim Little on his home turf, like, it's really, really difficult to beat Kim Little when he's in his garage, when he's in his pain cave with a Wahoo kicker headwind blowing in his face, with his Wahoo kicker on the back, his 2 dual screens, and Jesper Anker in his ears. I don't think Kim Little can really lose in that scenario. And then we're looking at team draft. I think you have to choose a team draft member to round out the top 3. Whether it's going to be Greg Leo or Matt Gardner, I think I would go with Greg Leo, because 9 out of 10 times this course ends in like a reduced bunch sprint, especially as we saw that last Thursday. So I would probably say Kim Little, Greg Leo, Lionel Vujasin. That is probably my top 3 if I have to look at it as favorites. But in a second, we're going to see them kick it up again now. They're going to go through the tube. They're going to turn right. They're going to turn left. And then they've got the escalators. Another point where you can break the pack if you really wanted to. But everyone is so familiar with this course. Everyone in this group are high-level, like high-performing Swift racers. And they will know. They will know to be paying attention now as they turn left. Even though their legs are starting to hurt, they will ramp it up. They'll get over the top as a group. And I think if you get dropped here, you have made a mistake. But you're seeing this Kim Little already at 12.5 watts per kilo, ramping it up way before the hill. So small little trick you can do there to beat the gradient, even though Kim Little races on 0% resistance. But he's gone off the front, and I think he will get back on. Ben Gove says Kim Little. Stefan Lewandorf says Kim Little. Rod Lee says first is Kim, second is Vujasin, and third is Leo. But it looks like we agree on the 3 riders, Rob. But now it's up to everyone else in this group to prove me wrong. If you are a Hughes, a Lyons, a Pishka, or a Lisa, this is where you prove me wrong. Kim Little says the anchor whispering in your ear is worth 100 watts. An extra 100 watts, you mean. That is where the definition of free watts come from, Kim. Oh, Vujasin goes again. We're doing 2 laps of this. So there's 1 more lap of the London Loop as they're now coming towards the finish line of the first lap. They go over the bridge, going to go through the finish line, and then they're going to do it again. But Vujasin continuously trying to break things up now, and all he needs is 2 passengers, and he's got a chance. 2 passengers, whether it's Kim Little, Hughes, as we've seen so far, Lisa, Lyons. I mean, Lyons hasn't really done too much in this race. He's sat in, he's just been in there, been in there. He must be saving the legs for something later on. But yes, 2 laps, about 30 kilometers in total of this course. It's going to be interesting to see. I actually don't know if power-ups are allowed. I don't think I've seen power-ups so far. But as we race, as we're only covering the A race, I do apologize because Matt Gardner did reach out to me and said, Jesper, the Bs, the Cs, and the Ds, they're racing their hearts out as well. They're really, really doing their best to get points, to race. I mean, we've probably got more racers in the Ds and the Bs and the Cs than we do in the As. But with my current broadcasting tools, I'm only available to really broadcast one category well. And I've chosen to do so in the A category. So if you are listening and you're in the Bs and the Cs and the Ds, I do apologize. But take this virtual ride on and give it some beans next time you go up Box Hill. Give it everything. Just fight a bit extra hard, knowing that everyone else will be going on Swift Power once this is done and checking your results, seeing how the Bs and the Cs and the Ds did. So that's in there. I mean, come on. Ride strong, ride hard. I know you can do this. Alan Lowe says, Matt B said there was donuts after this. Only reason I'm in here. I know. Matt Brand was also televising the fact that there was coffee and pizza on the line. So, I mean, I'm sitting here in my office right now, my studio, and I'm wondering, where's my pizza? Oh, wait. Tim, Victor, and I are going to Pizza Hut after this. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Probably I should have been on the bike burning some calories, burning some slices. But here we go. If I had a bell, which I do somewhere in the office, but I'm not sure what it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clap my hands. This is the final lap of racing. So come on, A-Riders. Let's see what you've got. I'm pretty sure Lionel Vujasin will try to go at another point in this race. So with the whole double draft dynamic now, this gets interesting because you can sit in really, really well now with double draft. You can sit in much lower than you have to in the past. And this could determine to the chasing back and chasing Peloton behind could actually come back. So we got a big group with Matt Brand, Corbeo of Villasio. We got Beck, Ferrone, Perline, Norke, Phil Whiteley. It's a big group, and they're only about, 16 seconds back, 13 seconds back. And if this group sits in and doesn't really do much attacking, that group could come back, and maybe on Box Hill we could see someone give it a go again as well. Yeah, the pack catches fast. Yes, that is true. But so we're seeing what's going to happen now because somebody could attack off the front. Someone could actually break this draft and go for it. But I think it's too early. I think you'd have to do it closer to Box Hill or on Box Hill. It's such an interesting course. And it's not like this is where the Swift racing design comes into play. As we're seeing accelerated efforts on the front by Hughes because Kim Little has attacked off the front. But this is where Swift course terraforming comes into play because in the later editions, in the later courses that have been added to Swift, so we're looking at Innsbruck, we're looking at New York, they have terrain perfect for racing. I mean, the Innsbruck Ring course, by far my favorite course on Zwift. It's so fun, it's so engaging, it's so difficult to time to perfection, and doing multiple laps of that will hurt. And then you've got New York course where You've got the 6 reverse train, which is quite fun to watch. You've got LaGuardia, which is just like, I've never raced it, but I've seen Victor do it, and it just looks painful. Then you've got the one where you're up in the sky, and you have that KOM where sometimes the fatter riders can stick in it because it's absolute watts, because it's just, that's how the course is designed. But if you look at how London was designed, and it was designed with realism in mind, this course, the London Loop, it's too flat to really make much of a difference. So with double draft now introduced, if you work together as a team, like if you have numbers as a team or nationality, now you can actually break things up without needing a hill. So we'll see what happens as the season progresses, as more and more, I guess, esports announcement. I don't really know. Like, the whole thing about Swift is you really need an incentive to race, and I think Draft and Dirt have I guess, improved this and have invented this or initiated this on Swift with adding an actual physical trophy, because we need more racers in here. We need more teammates. I mean, Kim Little should have Casey Shum in here. He should have Jacob Peel. He should have the rest. He should have Søren Bay. Team Draft, they do have a good lineup. We should have Team Vision in here. I saw Florishin was in here earlier. Vujersen should get the rest of the RCC guys in here. Like, with Kiss European race on a Thursday evening, you see so many team members from Innovation, from Team Poland, etc. And it's just some of the best racing you'll see on Swift, because on double draft you can really break things up. I remember a race in KISS European race where it was Team Fusion esports cycling team, powered by SIS and Wahoo. They attacked off the front with every single team member on New York. It may not have been the best strategy in the world, but oh my God, yes, that's what we need in Swift racing. That sort of level of strategy that is actually rewarded is what I want to see, because what happens, I see you, Casey. What happens now is that we got a bunch of individuals in here, except for Team Draft, that are just going to be marking each other. They're just going to be staying on each other, and there's not that many matches to burn as Matt Gardner goes to the front here on this little incline before they turn left. You have such a limited amount of matches you're able to burn, which means everyone is kind of being cautious about their racing. They're sitting in. They're not going to do anything unless the guy next to them does something, and that's why a racer like Lionel Vujersen is so great to have in this race, because he doesn't really care. He just wants a great workout, a bit like my friend and colleague Victor Lundqvist. They don't care about the result. Well, they do care, but they also want a great workout, so they just keep attacking, and try to make it hurt as much as possible. Søren Bay is tuning in. Hey, Søren, how you doing, man? Good morning. Sam is finally saying, you got time to sketch and race? Kudos, Kim Little. Kim Little is in the chat. He is texting and typing. But if we look at the heart rates so far, we got Lysa at the back, 166 comfortably. Greg Leo, 163 comfortably. We got Matt Gardner, who beats quite high. 180 is okay for him. Kim Little sitting at 158. Pirske sitting at 171. With Vujersen at 169 as well. So Rutley says, I've been no good to Kim at all. No real benefit to him or me. You never know. Yeah, but Tallbill is tuning in as well. Hey, man. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. So we got 2 laps of the London Loops here in the Morning Grind Fondo here in Swift Community Live, brought to you by Dirt and Draft. We've got about 20 kilometers down with 10 kilometers to go. And Kim Little and Hughes again on the front now. Kim Little goes again now, 7 watts per kilo, trying to up it up. And you can see the chasing peloton is just about to make the bridge. So that group with Matt Brand and Whiteley were dropped on Bucks Hill, but they've worked together since then to bring it back. So if we look further back, it's 5 seconds to the front now. 5 seconds is all that differs between the chasing group and the main peloton, but we're not too far away from Bucks Hill. They're going to turn left, go over the bridge, go into the tube, and then we got Bucks Hill again, and I expect Lionel Vujersen to go nuclear. Søren Bay says, hey Jesper, doing just fine, and you're doing a great job commentating. Thank you very much, Søren. We got Pete Donahue in the building. Pete Donahue of Swift Fitness. Congratulations on 4,000 members, my friend. That is quite the achievement. Well done. And Casey Shum says, double draft is basically the truck power being stuck on for all riders. Yeah, I believe I did see an interview with a Swift employee stating that was, I think that was actually Jordan Rapp, who said that there's no linear equation. There's no way to actually measure the double draft increase to Swift racing. Just think of it as the drafting power being activated at all times. So yes, that is a very good analogy for double draft racing. But we have Grupo Compacta now, as Nathan Guerra would say. We've got the main peloton all together. So we've got about a 20-man group now near the front. But this could all be in vain, or it could be a great strategy from the chasing group, because now they're going to hit Bucks Hill again, and it's going to hurt. Like, this is going to be nuclear power efforts. Like, we're going to see Kim Little attack. We're going to see Lionel Vujasin up it. We're going to see everyone else there. Hughes, Lyser, Leon. They know this is where you make or break the race. This is where you got to stay. If you can make it to the top in the front group, it is straight sailing from there. You just go to the top, sit in, and then get ready for a sprint finish. So this is technically the finish line. The real finish line of this course is at the top of Box Hill. So we're going to see, last time was a 5:30. I think we're going to see a 5:25 or 5:20 because I'm expecting Lionel Vujasin to just pull a Leandro Messinio, get to the front, 7.5 watts per kilo from the bottom to the top. This man is just unreal what he can produce power-wise on a bike. But we'll see. You can see the gradient slowly kicking up, flattening back out as we enter into the Surrey Hills. Oh, Jamie Woodward says, hey Jesper, lots of non-Tron bikes, choice or not got yet? That is a good question, Jamie. So Swift Insiders did do some research on the bike choices, and he concluded that if you want the best overall bike, you have to choose the Tron bike, as Kim Little goes on to the attack. I definitely know that Kim Little has unlocked the Tron bike, but I believe the reason he's using the Cervelo is the fact that he was very active in the Swift Academy, and he was one of the ride leaders, so I think he just wants to rock that as a bit of a pride and showcase. And knowing Kim Little, I also think he completely disregards the added benefits of a Tron bike. I would think Kim Little just goes, Tron bike, I don't believe it, what's, whatever. But could be wrong, and if I am, Kim Little, feel free to say so. Further down the peloton, I mean, it has been proven that the best climbing bike would be a Tregemonda with SIP 202s. So if anyone has that, that's because they're aiming to go mayhem up the hill. Lionel Vujasin, I don't think he's got a Tron bike. Everyone else on a Tron bike. Really, if you got the Tron bike, race with the Tron bike. That's really my two cents in that matter. I'm sure Casey Shum and a few other riders like Søren Bay in the chat could elaborate why you would choose the Tron bike or not choose the Tron bike, because at the end of the day, they've got a bit more power, they've got a bit more experience, riding experience in the peloton, whereas I just see what I tell what I can see and the conversation I have with the riders in and out the peloton. But here we go. The power plant has been activated. The uranium has been put into the power plant because here goes Lionel Vujasin. We'll see what isotope it is, whether it's the quick burning one or the long burning one, because Lionel Vujasin, 7 watts per kilo off the front. This is going to hurt. I think we're in the 525 zone here if Vujasin can do it, but it is double draft, meaning he doesn't have anyone to draft, so he's not that fast. Casey Shum is riding Cervelo S5 with discs, but I think you're choosing the discs because you were part of the beta group, so that was more of a statement of saying, look, I'm an OG Zwifter. But here we go. We got Lionel Vujasin, 6.7. Lysette 5. Hughes, Kim. But we saw this last time as well. Vujasin went out early, but with the effects of double drafting, this peloton could come back. Like, we saw this last Thursday with Johannes Hermann. He blitzed the peloton. He even made me call the win at the top of Box Hill. Like, oh, yeah. Johannes Hermann, easy. But everyone in the chat was like, Jesper, no, the race is not over. We're on double draft. This is going to be a reduced bunch sprint. And we did see that. Tim Cartwright and company came back and caught Johannes Hermann. And we could see a repeat of last week's KISS Thursday night race because Vujasin is 5 seconds up the road. He's got 7 kilometers left of racing, about halfway up Box Hill already. And he's going to need almost 20 seconds at the top of Box Hill to keep this group away from him. So this group is staying very well together. Matt Brandt just getting dropped. Matt Gardner has been dropped from this group, so it looks like they've swapped roles. Matt Brandt, he's definitely working hard. He was at the same heart rate last time that he got dropped from Box Hill, but he's staying in there. We got Ferrone, who's made his way back thanks to that bridge from the peloton. He's sitting in, he's doing well. Greg Leo just in the back, Markin rider, so it's Pierska, Hughes, Kim Little, but Vujasin at 7 seconds. It's a good gap, but it's not enough just yet. But if someone bridges across, it could just be. So around Box Hill, zigzag road, they can still see Lionel Vujasin up the road. He's still within the grasp. And that really, like on the outside in the real roads, that matter, but it also matters on Zwift. Having somebody in your eyesight just makes it a bit more like plausible to catch him for yourself. So we'll see what's going to happen now. Huge at the front. Vujasin has dropped down to about 5.8, 6 watts per kilo. And as I say that, he brings it back up to 7. So he's almost at the top. And this is an incredibly fast time from Vujasin. I think we will see a faster time than 5:35 as we got 90 people tuning in to the Swift Community Live broadcast of the morning grind Fondo powered by Dirt and Draft. If you're enjoying this, give this stream a reaction, everybody. It takes you 2 seconds to click a like or a love or anything. Just comment Everything you do, it takes you 2 seconds, it costs you nothing, and it pushes this stream out to more people, meaning more people can see the sufferment and the excitement of Zwift racing, and pays off all the organization it takes to put on a race series like this. Buy dirt racing, buy draft. That's all you got to do, and that's highly appreciated here on this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much. But Vujasin, gap is growing out. It's at 12 seconds now, 10 seconds now. He's definitely gaining on them, but he's going to need more. I know this sounds ridiculous, but he's going to need more. We're on double draft. 10 seconds is not enough. 13 seconds is not enough. He's going to come down and he's going to get caught. At least he's got a possibility of getting caught. I won't make a mistake of talking in absolutes like last Thursday, but he's got the ability to get caught still because of double draft and because that group is still so big. And they'll be taking turns. The only benefit for Lionel is the fact that last week was the reverse, meaning they hit the Fox Hill climb early on and then they got a bunch of flat. On this course, in this course, we hit Box Hill last, and we've only got about 5 kilometers of flat / downhill until the finish line. So that means you have 5 kilometers to catch 20 minutes of racing. You know, it's Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Oh, God, this is what happens when you run your own company, guys. Every day just seems the same. Like, you just lose. Like, there's no such thing as a weekend. Every day is just another work day. I do apologize. Scratch that one down in the books. Make a mark, Jesper. Know which day of the week it is. Come on, Lionel. Let's see how much you've got in there. No. Yeah, it is. I guess it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It took me a second to realize. G. Hughes of Team Type 1, World Diabetes Day. Come on, out of Ireland. I want to see this come back. 24 seconds to Lionel Vujasin. This will be tough. This is why you would need something like voice command or some sort of way to communicate with the other riders, because if Kim Lillo can start, I guess, heckling Greg Leo, maybe Greg Leo would actually take a turn on the front, because so far we've seen the Lion from draft just sit on the back, and not doing too much already. Lionel Vujasin did a 5:34. So it's faster than Lisa, but just by 1 second. So Seek is saying Lionel got a beating yesterday, or maybe he was resting. Pierre Johnny Derving says Vujasin is going to need 30 to 40 seconds. Kim is going to take this. We'll see. I do agree with you. He's going to need a bit more now. 26 seconds on the front. He cannot let go of the metal. He cannot let go of the pedal is what I meant to say. Come on, Vujasin. Let's see what you got now. 7 watts per kilo, 10%. He's upping it. They're just outside of reach, further back. Come on, Lionel. This is where you got to dig deep, my friend. 187 beats per minute. We all know it hurts, but we know you can break through this. Come on. 8%, 6%, 5%. Now, he's even got to keep pedaling on the downhill, I believe. I don't think he's got the luxury of freewheeling on the 0% gradient, because everyone behind him here will be fighting. Everyone will be going all out. There's Kim Little, Hughes, 10 watts per kilo. They're going to go all the way, and they'll continue this because they know on the descent, this is where they're going to make up some time now. They got to keep the pace up now as Vujasin is 20 seconds off the front. All in all, Kim Little could theoretically just be interested in keeping second place because that would add to his tally of points. But knowing Kim Little, he wants to win this race. He wants to take this one and all the points. But Vujasin is drafting, so he's freewheeling. He's in that Chris Froome Super Talk or Primoz Roglic or Matej Mohoric or whatever you want to call that Super Talk. But he's in it. And further back now, 22 seconds back. You got Leo, Pishka, Little. Matt Brand has been dropped. Matt Gardner's been dropped. Lisa has been dropped as well now. So we're down to a 4-man group. Greg Leo, Hughes, Kim Little, and Pishka. Can they work together? Can they work together and take this victory over Lionel Vujasin? It's going to be a big ask, but they've got about 4.5 kilometers to do so. When they get to the bottom of Fox Hill, that's where they got to take turns in the front. They've really got to put this together. And having a guy like Kim Little in here is going to make such a big difference because he's raced the chop powered by Ben Gove and WBR so many times. He knows what it takes to go on the front and really chase it down. And we're seeing the gap come flying down. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Despite that massive efforts, a 5:34 alone, Lionel Vujasin is going to get caught before the bottom of Fox Hill, sorry. How unreal is that? Ladies and gentlemen, that is double draft in action. That is the new algorithm, the new concept of Swift racing right there. Lionel Vujasin, one of the strongest performances on Fox Hill I've seen in a while, next to Leandro Messinho. Just caught like that on the descent. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but well done. So we got Casey Sum saying, look now, watch the time tumble. Yes, right, at least there's double draft demonstrated right there. Correct. Now we got about 2 kilometers, actually 3 kilometers left of racing. Now, how are they going to play this? 5 strong, very strong riders together now. They're going to come through this, go through the tube again, go up the escalator, and then we've got the sprint. This sprint is really difficult and really tricky because it comes in 2 hits. You go from about 400, 500 meters out, if not even longer out, and then at the very end, last 150, 100 meters, they go uphill. So if you have gone too early and you're starting to fade, you will lose so much distance, so much speed. You will deaccelerate really quickly on that incline to the sprint finish. So you really have to time the sprint to perfection. You want to sit in the draft for as long as possible and come around with about 200 meters to go and to try and catch them. Leandro Messinio says, who wins? Well, Leandro, I'd like to hear your guess because you're not racing tonight and you have a really good grasp of Swift racing. Who do you think wins this, Leandro? And also, I want to see you next Wednesday, man. Come on, Leandro, get involved, get racing. This would be a great race to see you as you did last Wednesday as well. But here we go. Escalator, Kim Lillis at 10 watts per kilo, Vujasin is at 11, Hughes at 9, Greg Leo's at 12, so is Pirska. Looking at the racing, as we're now reaching the last kilometer and a half, Greg Leo has not taken a single turn on the front. Pirska has not taken a single turn on the front. These are the 2 riders that should be most rested going into the sprint. And we all know Greg Leo has a sprint on him, but here we go. We'll give Pirska a ride on. I think he's deserved it. So Hughes on the front, so is Leo. Team Draft, it could be cool to see Team Draft win their own race, but they're going to have to beat the UK national champion of Zwift. Can they take Kim Little? Here we go. This is over the bridge. 1.2 kilometers, 1.2 Ks to go now. Who's going to take the second round of the morning grind Fondo? We have 106 people tuning into this right now. So if you're listening, you better unleash every single watt you've got in those legs. Every single ounce of sweat has to get out through that body in the sprint. I don't want you looking at the screen. I want you looking down and giving it everything when you launch. Just give it everything for about 20 seconds and we'll see who's going to take the win now. Pirska and Kim fighting for a position at the back now. Kim is sitting there, so is Pirska. Greg Leo is in second wheel. Lionel Vujasin might be someone to launch this one early. He's on the front now. So is Hughes. We got about 750 to go now. I believe this is around 750 is now here to go. So huge. Lionel Vujasin, they turn left. They go straight, and soon they're going to see the markers on the right-hand side of the road. There's a lot of love for Kim Little coming through in the chat. This is about 600 meters to go now. They can see the finish banner in the top right-hand corner. Kim Little sitting towards the back. So is Pirska. Kim Little and Pirska are in the best positions possible, but so is Greg Leo. He's in the wheel of Lionel Vujasin, but Kim Little on the wheel of Greg Leo. If he can time this acceleration, this could be the win. But there goes Lionel. Oh, he faked it for a second. Just a bit of a shimmy there. So does Kim Little. Also a shimmy. 300 meters to go. They're launching this so late. Vujasin is up to 15 watts per kilo. So is Greg Leo. 19 watts per kilo. Greg Leo's on the front. He's side by side with Kim Little. Who is going to take this? A UK national champion versus Greg Leo the Lion. 18, 17, 16. Side by side. Greg Leo, Kim Little, and Vujasin. Oh, what a race, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Leo sat in for most of the race, played it to perfection, played cat and mouse, went into the sprint, confident of his sprinting ability, took the win over Kim Little, Vujasin third. Now, I know there's a bunch of B's out there. I know there's a bunch of C's and a bunch of D's. I would love to cover. I like to showcase it, but I just don't have the broadcasting tools. I do highly apologize, guys, but if you're listening, right on. Massive kudos. We'll be doing this next Wednesday as well, so get involved in the action. There's a massive trophy for the winner on the line. Congratulations. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in, and to everyone else who watched, I will see you guys tomorrow when I cover the KISS Thursday evening race.